Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the history of one of Marvel's most fascinating and often underrated heroes, the Wasp. For many, the first image that comes to mind is Evangeline Lilly's incredible portrayal in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a brilliant scientist and formidable fighter. But the Wasp's story goes way back, long before she hit the big screen. Her journey from a supportive partner to a superhero icon in her own right is one of the most compelling arcs in comic book history. So let's shrink down and explore the incredible evolution of Janet Van Dyne, the original and astonishing Wasp. Our story begins in 1963, in the pages of Tales to Astonish issue number 44. This is where the world first met Janet Van Dyne. Initially, she was introduced as the daughter of a brilliant scientist, Vernon Van Dyne, who was a colleague of the original Ant-Man, Hank Pym. Janet's life takes a tragic turn when her father is murdered by an alien entity he accidentally brought to Earth. Devastated and seeking justice, Janet turns to Hank Pym for help. Seeing her determination, Hank reveals his identity as Ant-Man and offers her a chance at retribution. He subjects her to a procedure using his Pym particles, granting her the ability to shrink, grow insect-like wings when she shrinks, and fire bioelectric energy blasts, which she famously calls her wasp stings. And just like that, the Wasp was born. In these early days, the Wasp was very much a product of her time. The comics of the Silver Age often portrayed female characters in a supporting role, and Janet was no exception. She was initially presented as Ant-Man's partner, his sidekick. Her personality was depicted as somewhat flighty and fashion-obsessed, often more concerned with her costume design than the mission at hand. She was the one who gave Ant-Man his superhero name and was often the emotional heart of their duo, but Hank Pym was clearly positioned as the leader and the scientific genius. Their relationship was a central part of their story, filled with romance, arguments, and a dynamic that defined their early adventures. Despite this, right from the start, there were glimmers of the formidable hero she would become. Her intelligence and natural combat instincts were always there, bubbling just beneath the surface of her bubbly exterior. The Wasp's significance truly started to skyrocket when she became a founding member of the Avengers. Think about that for a second. She wasn't just an addition to the team. She was there from day one, alongside Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, and her partner, Ant-Man. In fact, it was Janet who came up with the team's name, the Avengers. It just sounded right. This was a monumental step. Being part of Earth's mightiest heroes immediately elevated her status beyond just being Ant-Man's partner. It placed her on the same level as some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. She was no longer just helping one hero. She was helping save the world on a regular basis. This was the first major turning point in her evolution, proving she was an essential and capable hero in her own right, holding her own in battles against villains like Loki and Kang the Conqueror. As the years went on, Janet's character began to mature and take on more responsibility within the Avengers. The writers started to flesh out her character, moving beyond the simple socialite trope. Her experience in countless battles honed her tactical skills, and her innate ability to connect with people made her a natural leader. This culminated in one of the most important moments in her history. She was elected the chairperson of the Avengers. This wasn't a temporary role or a token position. The Wasp led the team for a significant period, longer than even Captain America had at that point. She commanded heroes like Captain Marvel and Hercules, making tough, strategic decisions and proving to everyone, including herself, that she was more than capable of leading the world's premier superhero team. This era solidified her status as an A-list hero, a respected leader, and a strategic genius. She went from naming the team to leading it. Of course, her journey wasn't without its struggles. Her relationship with Hank Pym was famously tumultuous, marked by love, marriage, and a deeply painful and controversial storyline involving domestic abuse that has been a defining, though dark, part of her history. This storyline, while difficult, was also pivotal. It forced Janet to stand on her own, to break away from the shadow of her troubled partner, and to find strength in her own identity. She emerged from this trauma not as a victim, but as a survivor. This resilience became a core part of her character. She focused on her career as a successful fashion designer, built strong friendships within the hero community, and continued to lead the Avengers with courage and conviction. It was a powerful narrative of a woman reclaiming her independence and proving her strength extends far beyond her superpowers. The Wasp's visual identity has also been a key part of her evolution. As a fashion designer, it made perfect sense that Janet would constantly be updating her look. Unlike most heroes who stick to one iconic costume, the Wasp has had literally hundreds of different outfits over the decades. This wasn't just a gimmick. It was a reflection of her personality, creative, expressive, and always adapting. Each new costume marked a different era for her, showcasing her flair and her refusal to be put in a box. From her classic red and black suits to more modern and tactical designs, her ever-changing wardrobe is a unique aspect of her character that fans have always loved. It's a visual representation of her dynamic and ever-evolving nature. Then came the modern age of comics, and with it, even more depth for Janet. Her leadership skills were called upon time and time again. During major events like Secret Invasion, she made the ultimate sacrifice to save the Earth, a heroic act that cemented her legacy. Of course, in comics, death is rarely the end. Her eventual return was a cause for celebration, and she came back with a renewed sense of purpose, rejoining the Avengers and even mentoring a new generation of heroes. This era also saw the introduction of a new Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, who was revealed to be Hank Pym's daughter from his first wife. Instead of seeing Nadia as a replacement, Janet embraced her, becoming a mentor and a mother figure. This beautifully showcased her maturity and her role as an elder stateswoman in the superhero community. And that brings us to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While the MCU version, Hope Van Dyne, is a different character, she embodies many of the court traits that make Janet so great. Her intelligence, her combat prowess, and her leadership. The decision to have Hope take up the mantle and co-headline Ant-Man and the Wasp was a huge statement. It put the Wasp's name in the title, giving her equal billing and recognizing her as a powerhouse hero. The introduction of the original Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, further honored the character's legacy, portraying her as a legendary hero who survived for decades in the quantum realm. The MCU effectively took all the best parts of Janet's long comic book history, her skill, her leadership, her heart, and presented them to a massive global audience, cementing her status as a mainstream superhero icon. So, from her introduction as a love-struck socialite in 1963 to becoming a founding Avenger, a long-serving team leader, a survivor, a mentor, and a blockbuster movie star, the Wasp's journey is truly one of Marvel's greatest success stories. She flew out of the shadow of her partner to become a brilliant beacon of heroism. All on her own, Janet Van Dyne proved that you can be fashionable and formidable, compassionate and commanding, a partner and a leader. She's not just a sidekick. She's a cornerstone of the Marvel Universe. What's your favorite Wasp moment or costume? Let me know down in the comments below. It's always great to hear from you all. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the history of your favorite characters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.